Right now, 97% of Americans are heading toward financial disaster. They're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and making money mistakes that will haunt them for decades. But here's the shocking truth. Most of these financial disasters start with tiny, everyday spending choices that seem harmless in the moment. The good news is that there's a simple solution hiding in plain sight. The 60-Second Money Rule book reveals one powerful technique that can completely transform your financial future. It's called the 60-Second Pause Rule, and it might be the most important financial habit you'll ever learn. Your brain is wired to make quick spending decisions. When you see something you want, your emotions take over and your wallet opens before your logical mind can catch up. This is exactly how most people end up broke. But there's a simple way to break this cycle. Before making any purchase, you need to take a 60-second pause to ask yourself if it's truly necessary and aligns with your financial goals. This small moment of mindfulness can be the difference between financial success and financial ruin. The strategy is straightforward. Implement a mindful moment before each purchase to determine its necessity and alignment with your financial objectives. This isn't about depriving yourself of everything you enjoy. It's about making conscious choices instead of automatic reactions. When you pause, you give your rational mind time to catch up with your emotions. You create space between the impulse and the action. To put this into practice, you should start using mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques to foster a habit of pausing and reflecting on your spending decisions. This might sound complicated, but it's actually quite simple. When you feel the urge to buy something, take 3 deep breaths and count to 60. During this time, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I really need this? Will this help me reach my financial goals? Can I afford this without hurting my future self? You can also engage regularly with meditation apps to cultivate a mindset that prioritizes thoughtful decision-making over impulsive spending. Apps like Headspace or Calm can help you build the mental muscle of pausing before acting. Even 5 minutes of daily meditation can strengthen your ability to pause when it matters most. How might taking a moment to pause before purchasing change my relationship with money and spending? Most people don't realize that their emotions are controlling their wallet. You buy coffee when you're tired, clothes when you're sad, gadgets when you're bored, and expensive dinners when you're celebrating. These emotional triggers are costing you thousands of dollars every year and keeping you trapped in a cycle of financial stress. The key is to recognize and understand the emotional triggers that lead to unnecessary spending, helping to differentiate between emotional desires and actual needs. Your new strategy should be to identify and manage emotional triggers to prevent them from dictating spending habits. This means becoming a detective of your own behavior. You need to catch yourself in the act of emotional spending and learn to respond differently. It's not about never feeling emotions. It's about not letting those emotions empty your bank account. To make this work in real life, you should employ cognitive behavioral therapy tools to identify emotional triggers and develop strategies to address them without resorting to spending. Start by keeping a simple spending diary for 1 week. Every time you buy something, write down what you were feeling right before the purchase. Were you stressed, happy, angry, or lonely? You'll start to see patterns. Maybe you always buy things online when you're feeling overwhelmed at work, or perhaps you overspend on food when you're feeling social pressure. You can also use mood tracking apps to monitor emotional states and their impact on spending behavior, promoting self-awareness and control. Apps like Daylio or Mood Meter can help you track your emotions throughout the day. When you combine this with your spending diary, you'll see clear connections between your feelings and your financial choices. In what ways do my emotions influence my spending, and how can I better manage these impulses to align with my financial goals? Here's where most people go wrong with money. They make spending decisions in isolation without thinking about their bigger financial picture. Every dollar you spend is a dollar that can't work toward your future security and happiness. But when you use the pause to consider how each expenditure aligns with your long-term financial goals, you ensure that every purchase contributes positively to your financial health. The strategy that will change everything is to align every spending decision with your long-term financial aspirations to ensure consistent progress towards your goals. This means before you buy anything, you ask yourself, does this purchase move me closer to my financial goals or further away from them? If the answer is further away, you need to think twice. To put this into action, you should leverage financial planning software to visualize and understand the impact of your spending decisions on your financial goals. Tools like Mint, Personal Capital, or even a simple spreadsheet can show you exactly where your money is going and how it affects your bigger plans. When you can see that your daily coffee habit costs you $1,500 per year, which could have grown to $3,000 in your retirement account, spending decisions become much clearer. You can also implement goal-setting apps to track your financial objectives and assess how well your spending habits are contributing to these goals. Apps like YNAB, You Need a Budget, or Every Dollar help you give every dollar a purpose before you spend it. When you know that $50 is supposed to go toward your emergency fund, you're less likely to spend it on something random. How do my daily spending choices reflect my long-term financial goals, and what adjustments are necessary to better align them? Your impulse control is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. The practice of pausing for 60 seconds serves to strengthen impulse control, gradually building a habit of disciplined spending. Most people have weak impulse control because they never practice it. They see something they want and buy it immediately. But you're going to be different. Your approach should be to strengthen impulse control through deliberate practice, reducing unnecessary expenditures. This isn't about willpower alone. It's about creating systems and habits that make good financial choices easier and bad financial choices harder. You're essentially rewiring your brain to default to smart money decisions. To build this muscle in your daily life, you should apply delayed gratification techniques, such as waiting an additional 10 minutes beyond the initial pause when tempted by an impulsive purchase. If after 60 seconds you still want to buy something non-essential, tell yourself you'll wait another 10 minutes. Often, the desire will pass completely. For bigger purchases, implement a 24-hour rule or even a week-long waiting period. You can also maintain an impulse spending journal to identify patterns in impulsive behavior and develop strategies to counteract these tendencies. Write down every time you feel the urge to make an impulse purchase, even if you don't follow through. Note what you wanted to buy, how you were feeling, where you were, and what happened next. After a few weeks, you'll see clear patterns. Maybe you always want to buy things when you're scrolling social media, or perhaps you overspend when you're in certain stores. Once you know your patterns, you can create specific strategies to handle each situation. What patterns emerge from my impulse spending, and how can I use this insight to foster more disciplined spending habits? The final piece of the puzzle is learning to truly evaluate whether a purchase is worth it. Most people buy things without really thinking about the true cost or the lasting value. But when you reflect on the value and joy that the potential purchase will bring compared to its cost, you foster a deeper appreciation for mindful consumption and financial restraint. Your new approach should be to practice mindful reflection on the true value of potential purchases to enhance financial decision-making. This means thinking beyond the immediate pleasure of buying something and considering the long-term impact on both your finances and your happiness. Many purchases that seem exciting in the moment provide very little lasting satisfaction. To make this practical, you should utilize cost-value comparison tools to evaluate the long-term satisfaction a purchase will bring relative to its cost. Create a simple mental framework. How many hours did I have to work to afford this? Will I still be happy about this purchase in a month? Could this money be better used elsewhere? For example, if you're considering buying a $200 gadget and you make $20 per hour after taxes, ask yourself if that gadget is worth 10 hours of your life. You can also keep a gratitude journal focusing on items already owned to cultivate an appreciation for what you have, reducing the desire for unnecessary spending. Every week, write down 3 things you already own that you're grateful for. This simple practice helps you realize that you probably already have most of what you need to be happy. When you appreciate what you have, you naturally want less of what you don't have. How does reflecting on the value and cost of potential purchases affect my decision-making? And how can this practice contribute to my financial well-being? The 60-second pause rule isn't just about saving money. It's about taking control of your financial future and breaking free from the cycle that traps 97% of Americans in financial struggle. Every time you pause before spending, you're choosing your long-term security over short-term impulses. You're choosing financial freedom over financial stress. Start today with just one purchase. The next time you want to buy something, pause for 60 seconds and ask yourself the key questions. Notice how different you feel when you make conscious choices instead of automatic reactions. This simple practice will compound over time, saving you thousands of dollars and building the financial habits that lead to true wealth. Remember, small changes in your daily spending habits create massive changes in your financial future. The 60-second pause rule is your first step toward joining the 3% of Americans who achieve real financial success. You have the power to change your financial story. Starting right now,